All right, y'all. It's Tuesday, 6 o'clock, back-to-back weeks. We've been on time at the same time at the same date. It must be a miracle. Maybe I'm just slowing down, but we're going to find out just a minute, y'all. But in the meantime, from the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks, from Eve After Dark to concerts in the park, you're live with Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip-hop. Me and my man Dusty do it like this every Tuesday, about this time, about this day. We're going to do it today again. Excuse me, that. Shit. All right. I messed up. Anyway, hey, folks, we are back. Talk to me, Dusty.
What up, Lance? How you doing, my dude?
And I'm doing fantastic, except for choking right quick. It's the only problem
Yeah,
about
I
being
saw
live.
that.
Sometimes you can get to choking on your own saliva.
Yeah, man.
What you got?
As long as it's saliva and not something else, bro.
Yeah.
Man. Shout out to the chat. Welcome to the show. Please hit that like button before you guys get too comfortable. And if this is your first time joining the channel, you're in for a treat. You are tuned in to N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo. That is Alonzo Williams, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. I am Dusty Vision. Let's get it going, Lonzo. Hey, first clip I would love to discuss with you, man. Something, I'm always checking out videos when it comes to N.W.A. and their history and just old school hip hop in general. Listening to a AI created video. These AI videos are just popping up everywhere. This one has 120,000 views in 5 days. Why can't the real shit like this get 120,000 views? That's what we're working on, though. But I want to play this clip for you, Lonzo. They discussed World Class Wrecking Crew, and in it, there were a couple of discrepancies that I'm pretty sure you're going to disagree with. So I'm going to play this clip. It's a quick clip. I'm going to stop it every once in a while just to get your point if that's true or not. Here we go. Oh, damn. Hold on. All right, there we go. Booyah.
Making gangster rap history with N.W.A dated Sakmis 1884 and Lace Gloves as a member of World Class Wrecking Crew in Compton. This electro-hop group featuring Dre, DJ Yella, Clei Intel, Grandmaster Lonzo, and...
Can't even say the damn name right, first of all. Clei Intel. Jesus Christ. You hear, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shakespeare sold over 500,000 copies of their independent singles between 1983 and 1987.
All right, so is that true off top? Is that true? 500,000 copies between 83 and 87 of your singles?
We'll never know, man. We were distributed by McCullough. McCullough kept 2 sets of books. Actually kept 3 sets of books. I didn't have privy, only had privy to one of them. And we didn't get that, but we didn't get paid for that, let's put it that way.
Damn. What would you say on record, if you could just put a guesstimate, not obviously the bootlegs and McCullough doing the slide thing. What is on record of World Class Wrecking Crew selling? Are you guys a platinum act?
I would think so, yeah. Definitely between Surgery, Juice, and the album. And then Turn Off the Lights was a huge song for us, Doc. So I would think collectively, yeah, easy.
All right, cool. All right, let's continue.
Their track Surgery introduced the concept of scratching as lead instrument that would influence every turntablist from DJ Premier to DJ Shadow.
Talk to us about Surgery. And they mentioned that it used the scratching as a lead instrument, which, wasn't really too popular at that time. Is it true that Surgery was one of those groundbreaking songs that influenced the likes of DJ Premier?
Man, people be throwing AI throws all kind of shit into the gumbo. I couldn't say that, man. I wouldn't say that at all. We dropped Surgery. We dropped Slice first. I believe we had scratching on Slice, if I ain't mistaken. And then when Dre was the first one to scratch, Dre scratched on Surgery because Surgery was his record, and that's where we got the cutting and the scratching from, and it worked out good because he had the doctor theme. So that was just a coincidence. How it affected anybody else, can't speak on.
All right. The one is coming up that I really want you to comment on, because when I heard this, I'm like, where did they come up with this shit?
The group's mobile DJ unit, which included a then unknown Ice Cube as a hype man, was grossing $3,000 per...
A then Ice Cube as a hype man of World Class Wrecking Crew. Talk to me, dog.
There was no way Ice Cube could have been a hype man for us. Ice Cube was in elementary school. We were doing mobile parties. There was no way he could have been he was in junior high school, or possibly elementary when I was doing mobile parties. We only ran together collectively for a few years after we got Eve After Dark, because I would go out and hustle noon dances and after proms and homecoming dances, and Cube was nowhere around because at that time we had Eve After Dark, and we was bidding for the gig and the after party. We never had a hype man. That was bullshit right there. Damn sure wouldn't be Ice Cube.
When did you first meet Cube? What was your introduction to him?
Cube came by the house. Well, Cube was introducing me when we were one of the judges, and we were regulars at World on Wheels. We didn't judge the finals. We were there and participating in support. And because Dre had my cousin World on Wheels, let's go to check him out, blah blah blah. So we went up there. It was like a second home for us. We knew everybody up there, and that's when I was introduced to him. And he came by the house. And then when we got to deal with CBS, and they're looking for a second group, that's when I started paying some attention to him.
But he, in fact, was not hype man for World Class Wrecking Crew.
Hell no.
Where do they come up with this stuff, man? If you had to think, because they're collecting info from everywhere. Where do you think they're coming up with? How could they possibly have gotten Ice Cube being a hype man for World Class Wrecking Crew?
That's a good question, Doc. I know I've been playing with AI stuff lately, and they will grab stuff just out of the digital universe and throw it in there. I've had stuff that I was doing. I'm working on some music, and they just start cussing for no reason. What the fuck y'all doing? I didn't tell you to cuss. Out of the clear blue sky, it just started cussing. I mean, man, damn. I said hip hop, not gangster rap. Anyway, yeah, it'll do that.
Yeah. All right. So another AI video I was watching, and I don't have the clip to this one, unfortunately, but another AI video I was watching mentioned that Alonzo Williams once bought firearms for Eazy-E and members of N.W.A. We've talked about this story in the past, but can you break down what really happened, Lonzo?
I ain't never bought no firearm for nobody except for Lonzo. What happened was we were about to do a tour, and Jerry had got us all on this tour. And every time we went on tour, we always went to go shopping. We go down to the mall, buy some new drawers. I like new fresh drawers on the road. Don't ask me why. Give me some fresh drawers, some new socks. And I'm walking past the store in the Carson Mall called HQ. HQ was like a sporting goods store. And HQ sold guns. I bought a lot of my guns from HQ. And when I walked past HQ, there Dre and Eazy and maybe Ren was in there looking through guns. What y'all looking at guns for? We finna go on tour. We going on the same tour. What tour y'all going on? Vietnam? No, I walked in, man. What y'all doing? They buying shotguns. He looking at shotguns and a couple of rifles. I'm like, what are you looking at this shit for? That semi-automatic shit. The Tech 9s. That's what you could buy a Tech 9 in the mall, literally. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing all that shit for? I mean, we're going to go on tour. We got to be ready. Ready for what tour are you going on, man? Vietnam or some shit? And that's all it was. I've told that story a few times. I never bought no gun from nobody. Why would I do some dumb shit like that?
Is it safe to say that back then, and once again, nothing against the guys, but would it be safe to say that Eazy is probably the only one out of the crew that would have probably been around guns a lot, maybe street, Yellow doesn't strike me as somebody who would hang around guns. I don't know, though. Looks can be deceiving.
Yellow had a personal incident with a gun one time. He was deadly afraid of guns, still is today. I used to keep a gun with me at Eve After Dark, and every once in a while I would take it out, sit on my desk, he'd leave the room immediately. Oh, they got a gun, I gotta go. I never played with a gun. Sometimes I had a 44 Magnum I carried back in the day, and I would take it out of my, especially if I was counting money or something like that. I'd take it out of my back holster, out of my back, and sit it on my desk. And if he walked in and saw that gun, he'd turn back around like the room was on fire. Dre, nah, and Cube wasn't around. Cube was not around Eve After Dark, period. So Eazy might be the only one I could see him having the street charisma to be interested in guns.
Okay. Speaking of guns, you sent me some great music couple days ago. I just got a chance today to listen through it and soak it all in and appreciate it. And maybe we could play some of that later. I don't know how you feel about it, but there was one song in there that tells a great story about the day your child was born and the events that surrounded that day. You mentioned we've talked about this before, Alonzo, but can you talk about the day your son was born, what happened, and then we can talk more about this music that you sent me over?
Yeah, Doc, it was a Friday night, man. Friday morning. He was born on a Friday, August 23rd. Went down into the hospital. Everything was smooth. The birth was smooth. His mama wasn't in, she wasn't in no long, that long situation where she had to carry him forever. We got there about 2 hours later. He was making his debut. I cut the umbilical cord. He was in there crying. I told him, "You quiet, boy. You just got started." And it was a good day for me, man. Later on, I went over to the nursery and saw him. He's still crying. And, I was on my way out of the current affair. And, it was like a new day for me, period. It was like, okay, things about to change. I'm about to go to the Hollywood Park Casino. They just current affair over here. It was a cool building, but it was cool business, but the building was raggedy. Costing me too much money to stay in business. Man, so I made up my mind that day. I was taking off the day. Me and my cousin was going to hang. We came in, bought a couple of cigars, sitting in the backyard, smoking cigars, just talking shit. And I get a phone call from my bartender. And my bartender was on this campaign to try and convince the owner of the building to let him stay once I left. But although the owner of the building, he owned the building, I own the liquor license. Me and the liquor license is leaving. So you can't sell no liquor, sir. I don't trust you like that. So he had booked a party, which was supposed to be closed. At this time, I was only working 2 days a week. I was working on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesdays, I had a card crew come through. They played cards every week. They were very faithful. They spent money. And Saturdays, I was just fulfilling any of my contracts. I wasn't booking anything. Well, he had booked a party behind my back. And I booked some essays. I'm trying to do something, blah, blah, blah. I need you to come through and just check everything out. I get to the club, man, and it's a gang of Latino kids. I mean youngsters, I should say. I never really dealt with that crowd. They brought their own DJ in. They brought their own speakers. And it appeared to be pretty cool. And like I said, I got a phone call. And it was my old lady from the hospital. I couldn't hear it. Music was super loud. So I go to the bathroom, we go to the office, take the call, where I can sit down and do it. Man, my cousin busted through the door. Hey, man, they shot somebody in the parking lot. I'm like, bullshit. So I took off running. Sure enough, this young dude that got killed, he got shot. And by the time I got there, he had just died. And I'm like, fuck. I ain't never had anybody die in any of my venues before, man. And allegedly what happened was a fight broke out. His brother got into a fight in the club. And my guys brought the brother outside so the fight wouldn't spread. It's like fights like fire. They're spread like everybody be fighting in a few minutes. So the fight wouldn't spread. So when he got outside, it was some black guys out there smoking cigarettes, maybe some weed. They know each other. I let people smoke inside the club. And when he came outside, they started clowning. "Oh, you got your ass whooped, you got your ass whooped." So he started fighting with them. His brother came outside, started fighting also. And some dude from the black team from around the corner decided that he wanted to shoot somebody. And he told the guys to back up, and he put 3 shots in the homeboy and killed him. And dude, it fucks me up. Every 23rd of August, that's my son's birthday. Like I said in the song, most people don't experience life and death like that in the same day. A doctor does, maybe a fireman, maybe a policeman may experience something like that, but to cut the cord of somebody's son in the morning and watch the coroner put another man's son in the bag that night, dude, that's some traumatic shit, dude. That's some traumatic shit. Especially on the same day your son is born. That just always bothers the shit out of me, dude. Always bothered me. So, yes, I wrote a song about it.
And it's a beautiful song. Was that what you played last week when I couldn't hear?
No, I played another song last week.
Okay. Is this music ready for the world yet, or are you gonna wait to?
You can play it.
Okay, you know, I wish I had it queued. I don't have it queued. It's on
Okay,
my phone
yeah,
that you sent me. But next week
yeah.
we're gonna go through some songs, and I want to kind of break down because there's some really good storytelling in
And
that
that's
music. And
and that's what I'm doing, man. I invested in a couple of programs that would allow me to tell some of the stories we talk about. I'm putting them in music. I'm gonna do an album, a CD, or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something with them. And I just hate the current music business so much. I don't almost don't want to participate because I just can't see somebody just taking my music and making money on my shit and then give me fractions of a penny just to even get recognized, and then tell me, "Oh, you didn't get 10,000 spins, you can't get paid," or some shit like that. So I got a couple of buddy of mine. He has a new app that he's about to launch. I'm thinking I'm gonna release it on the app, and I probably put it on CD Baby too. But it's just sometimes the whole coming from the music business that I know to try and get involved with the music business of today is really disheartening because they don't respect the artists at all.
that's the truth, dog. Let's go back to that story, your traumatic situation, August 23rd. Beautiful situation. It started, ended up being traumatic, but a very, very, very small percentage of people in life witness someone dead in front of them, dying or dead in front of them. Can you talk a little bit about the trauma that a lot of people face who live in certain environments? You know, you have people go across the seas to fight in wars. They see the same stuff that someone growing up in Watts probably sees, someone growing up in Compton probably sees. And maybe parlay that into just the whole mental thing, you know, the trauma that we don't seek therapy for stuff like that, but break down the trauma in the hood, Lonzo.
You know, excuse me. Man, I was a grown man before I saw anybody dead, and to see somebody, especially somebody that you know, lay there stiff, dude. It's dude. It does something to you, man. It does something to you. It shows you how fragile life really is. Um, I was in a fatal car wreck. My passenger got killed, dude. And dude, it fucks you up for real. I'm the worst. I'm the worst passenger in the world. You don't want to ride with me, man. I don't want you don't want me to ride with you because I'm gonna tell you how to drive. I'm gonna got my brakes on. I'm and the fact that it's happened to me before, I'm always leery for my passengers because I walked away, my passenger didn't. Okay, and they hit me. So I don't know whether it's luck on my behalf, misfortune on theirs, but nonetheless, I'm what you call it's called a survivor's remorse, where you wonder why something happens, and you are it, and but somebody else gets punished for it, takes the blood of the negative result. So it just and when you see and the kids, man, I really think it's a very traumatic, even more traumatic for kids, especially. Uh, I mean, you think about little kids at school, man, and you playing one day, and all of a sudden somebody kicking the door and start shooting people. You and your little buddy was sitting there kicking it, having a good time, and somebody decided to start shooting people. People don't realize, oh, I shoot, man, you don't realize the impact that has on people's psychological well-being from that point on, dude. You need a lot of therapy. And I know my nephew is a therapist. He talks about that a lot, how in his training, he has to deal with people with all type of situations that they've experienced and how they try to recover from them. And it's really therapy, dude, because you have to realize it wasn't your fault. You have to go through all these mental exercises to try and get back on track. So it's no joke at all.
Let's talk about August 23rd, Lonzo, the beautiful part of it. How did becoming a father change you? Or did it change you right away? Were you still the same person you were 24 hours before you became a father? Talk to me.
This one was different, man, because this one right here, I have 5 kids, and this is the first one I ever saw being born. I was there when he poked his head out, whatever the whole 9 yards. I watched him come out. Everybody else, it was like, hey, you got a daughter. Hey, you got 2, or whatever. It wasn't as up close and personal as this one right here was. So it had a much different effect. Usually, when I saw my kids, they were just in the nursery or something. You know, my first daughter was born. I was like 18. I was scared to go in there. Straight up, I didn't see her till she got to the nursery. And my twins, I met them later in life, and my other daughter, I met her like that night after she was born. So, but this one right here, it was a lot different. I was involved, cutting the cord, and you hear him take his first break. Hey, he got all his body parts. Everything there, everything is there. And you kind of clown with the nurses and the doctors, but you also see some shit, man. Like just like the reverse of what I spoke earlier about the trauma. The beauty of seeing somebody come from another person, man. I've watched puppies be born and shit like that as a kid. I ain't never seen nobody else, no human be born. That's a different experience, Doc.
Yeah. I wasn't there. I sat in the waiting room the whole time like a little BITC. I just couldn't do it, man. But it's one of those things that you live and you learn. But all right, so. Now that being said, Lonzo, August 23rd, Pops, first time seeing kid get your kid come out. I would like to know your thoughts on this story. And we're going to take a real quick trip to the Niggaverse. We're not going to stay there too long. We're going to hang out there for one story, and then I want your thoughts on this, Lonzo. It seems like we're hearing these stories more and more often these days, but rapper Jay Fizzle out of Memphis has 31 kids, and he currently has 3 on the way, bringing his total to 34 kids. Now, I triple checked this story just to make sure it's official. It wasn't no BS. Somebody just popped up and threw up on there. This is an official story, official rapper who has 31 kids, 3 on the way. Talk to me, Lonzo.
Pofu, you can't manage 31 kids. You're going to forget some birthdays. You're going to go broke buying cakes. You're gonna go broke just buying birthday cakes, presents, and trying to navigate homework and diapers and everything. It's literally impossible, man. He must be. I never heard of him before, but he's got to be a hell of a rapper to even think that his legacy is going to support 31 people, actually 34 people. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at his views on YouTube, and he's gonna need more than rap for this one.
Yeah, so you got 34 people that you're responsible for. Talking about a level of irresponsibility. I don't know whether he's doing it for the social media attention. I don't know why they are doing it. Are the women doing this for the social media attention? He ain't Nick Cannon. Nick got what, 11 or 12, something like that. And he got the money to take care of them. 31 kids, man, you will never have a driver's license. If he's anywhere near California, he won't have a driver's license. He won't have no job, no license for the job. Dude, how much can you give him in child support? How much can you really pay a kid? I mean, can you pay the mom for child support? What is the motivation for a woman to have a baby by a man with that many kids already? I might can see the first 4 or 5, but when you pass 20, you just standing in line for what? For what? He must be a hell of a good-looking dude making some hell of a babies, man. Because sometimes some women can see that as being justification for laying with a dude because he got green eyes, the curly hair. Like, well, I don't know, but everybody.
You look like Kodak Black, my dude.
He might be getting some cases. He just don't realize it yet.
Yeah, he ain't no Shamar Moore over here. My dude is a straight up Kodak Black, bro.
Hey, what state is he from?
He's from Memphis, and he's 31 years old, Lonzo.
Yeah, I can see that happening in Memphis. Ain't much to do down there, but bone your cousins. Anyway.
But, and it's not always about time. I mean, it's not always about money, Lonzo. I mean, there's no way a man could spread himself out 34 ways and spend time with the kids. I think that's, at the end of the day,
right.
Just as, if not more important than money.
You're going to have Father's Day on Zoom. All them kids in one. You're going to have Father's Day on Zoom like it's something, okay? Dropping off Instacart cakes, and, oh, man, dude, that ain't going to work. You can't. Dude, he may be a rapper, but he's damn sure not a smart one.
And going back to something we talked about a couple weeks ago when we were talking about AIDS, is it safe to say that Jay Fizzle at least has genital herpes if he's going raw on all these women?
Not necessarily. He can get lucky.
That's a
can get
lot of
lucky.
luck.
He can get lucky. I've been pretty lucky all my life, man. When
I
I got babies,
know.
I've been pretty lucky.
Woo.
I have. I'm not one of them cats that I don't like. I talk about that shit. I did. They don't do me no good. It's like no, I'm not playing with this on my head. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Okay. I don't have. I've had very little luck with them. I have, but it takes a whole lot of special treatment to get that something going to work under that condition.
We've talked about this, and we even discussed it a little bit a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Eazy-E and AIDS. But AIDS scared the hell out of me, Lonzo. When I was in 8, 9, 10, 11, that was right in the 80s, and I would just watch TV. It did. I mean, I didn't do it with the girl until I was 16, which is kind of late for a boy. After that, I was on to the races. But I waited because I was legit afraid of AIDS. So I can imagine you being in your 20s in the 80s, and this thing called AIDS is everywhere.
You know what, man? We knew about it. I just been a very blessed individual when it comes to that. I've never even had to go see the doctor. I've been very lucky where I know some of my partners, they was at the clinic on first name basis. So I've been very fortunate with that, Doc. I didn't want to jinx it by talking about it, but yeah, I do understand. And I tell you what, I've had them little creepy crawlers on my ass. That was probably the worst I ever had was some crabs back in the day. But other than that, man, them crabs, they'll make you rethink your position too.
Yeah, I didn't get to experience that, thankfully, but I've had a couple. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, damn, how many dudes hit that? And I went, oh yeah, nah, I was lucky I made it through. But let's talk a little bit more hip hop, Lonzo. Let me see here. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we mentioned Dre blowing money. He was one of the guys who blew money. He got money and he's gone right away, pretty much back in the day, as a lot of young kids. It would happen too. But the guys were so young, so they were blowing money left and right. Who would you say was the most, if you can pick one, was the most fiscally responsible person in the world-class wrecking crew, N.W.A, that whole era?
It didn't exist. Me. It didn't exist. It did not exist. When money came in, money was meant to be spent, especially with them. There was nobody that had, I'm gonna stack this up. No, they tried to. When we got our big money from CBS, just give me X amount of bucks per week. Okay, cool. Shit. If checks was due on Friday, they would be looking for advance on Wednesday. So it was never, it was always emergency. Hey man, it's your money. I'm just passing it out to you, bro. It ain't gonna last forever. We ain't gigging right now. We got a new program. Oh, I know. I got to go down and take care of. Okay, go here. Here it is. That's why I had a big ass checkbook. I made sure everybody signed their receipt before they got their money. I didn't want no discrepancies in the accounting.
And how did it work back then being a boss? Did that come out of, like, did they have so much time to pay it back? Did it come out of their back end pay, their show money?
When I was first doing our thing, we didn't get into a whole lot of money issues because we pretty much was cash and carry when it came to the underground records, even after dark. Even when we started doing gigs, when we got back to town, they your money. But the issue came in when we got a big check. We got our CBS check because everybody was anticipating the check, and they wanted advances. And CBS kept stretching us out. I had the money, so I'd give it to them, but I want my money back. And that's where the problem came in at. That's when the problem came in because you didn't borrow $3,500, $4,000. You still think you got 15, 20,000 coming. No, you got 20,000 minus my 4. And that's where a lot of the problem started, man. Just the fact that I wanted my money back. I'm entitled to get my money back. And that was understanding when I gave it to you. And a lot of the bullshit you heard about me, that's where it come from. Oh man, he ripped us. No, I didn't rip you off. You kept on coming back. And you had a car, you knew we wasn't working. You had car notes, you had this, you had that, you had all kinds of different situations you got yourself involved in. Had to go see the doctor 3-4 times, and everybody wanted new speakers and all. Okay, fine. I know the money is coming. I won't get it before you do. I'm going to deduct it from what you owe me. So when in that situation right there, Shakespeare was probably the most fiscally responsible person. No, Yellow was. Yellow was. He didn't come too much. He came, but he didn't come a whole lot. As far as coming for money. But my other boy, oh man, the physician, shit.
Okay. Damn, we're already halfway through the show, so I'm going to take this opportunity to remind everybody to hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel, you are tuned into N.W.A. Stories with Alonzo. That is Alonzo Williams, the godfather of West Coast hip hop. I am Dusty Vision. Welcome to N.W.A. Stories with Alonzo. Please hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying what you hear. That real West Coast hip hop. That real stuff. Unfortunately, the AI videos get the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views. We're working on that. And before we go forward, I got to thank Jay Roos Theory for sending me that video. He's the one who sent it to me about them saying Ice Cube was a hype man for World Class Wrecking Crew. I thought that was very laughable. But let's continue with some N.W.A. talk. Lonzo, I would love to know if you learned any lessons, good or bad or indifferent or whatever, any good or bad lessons from Jerry Heller?
Yeah, I did. I learned a good lesson from Jerry Heller. Jerry Heller always got his contract signed first. He didn't, he'd laugh and shoot the shit, but he'd go a contract. He'd smile, be your homie, he'd go a contract. And he told me one time the reason why all the shit people talked about him, they never sued him because that's in the contract. So he put together the contract. So any lawyer that read the contract knew that he everything he took, you gave it to him. So it wasn't like he stole anything. You gave him permission, you gave him the opportunity, you gave him the right, whatever the case may be. You put him in position to get what he got, and you knew that before you signed the contract. And if you didn't, that's on you. So yeah, I learned that from him. I learned that he was a cold businessman. That's for damn sure. And it was never personal, but it was always business with him. And but it seemed personal, and that was the difference. It felt personal, but it wasn't. It was always business.
Where do these contracts come from, Lonzo? I'm sure for a new artist, almost every contract does the same exact thing, probably for the most part. But where do these contracts come from? Entertainment lawyers? Is there a contracts.com or whatever Inc. that you guys go to? Where do you guys get the contract?
Most contracts are generated by lawyers, and what they'll do is they will write a contract for an artist, keep it, and then based on the deal they are structuring for the new artist, they may use the same contract. When I first met with Eazy, I took him to my lawyer up in Citrus City. He bought a contract, okay, and the question was, what kind of contract do you want? You want something that's fair, something that's all in your favor, something that's mildly in the artist's favor? What do you want? And he said, give me the one in the middle. And it cost him $600 for 40-some pieces of paper. And he never used them because Jerry came with some new contracts. Shortly after that, Jerry came with new contracts. And the contracts he got from my guy, they didn't use them because they were too fair. That's same thing I had. I wanted a fair contract. He got the same ones I had. There's some contracts that are very fair, standard contracts. And there's some contracts, man, don't fuck with that shit. Don't even let an ink pen and that contract be in the same building because you might get a signature that you didn't even generate. So yeah, and that's pretty much where it comes from. Most lawyers write their contracts are written. There are certain clauses in contracts that are standard clauses. Only thing changes in most contracts is a lot of contracts, I should say, is the royalty rates, the date, of course, and who the various parties are. And then when it comes to certain tricky things like free goods, a pay schedule, if you put a major, the pay schedule is going to be the same the whole time. But what they can hold as a reserve can be flexible. And then recoupability, what is recoupable? Everything don't have to be recoupable, but sometimes they will try to make it all recoupable. Like 100, you're responsible for 100% of all promotional material, promotional efforts. And it should be a partnership between you and the label. But some people act, hey, everything got to do with your product, you're responsible for it. And if you don't know no better, you'll sign off on it.
Now, I know the 360 is very specific, the 360 deal that is prevalent today in music and all over. Was there a version of the 360 deal back in the 80s? I know you just gave us some examples, but was there more specifically something like a 360 deal back then?
It wasn't called a 360 deal, but one of the contracts the company tried to give me after I left Macola, it had a basic contract with addendums that went through the contract through the alphabet like 3 times. I was on double G, double Q or some shit. And one of the clauses in the contract, if I had a outside job, okay, I still owe the manager 10%. If I got a job on fries at McDonald's, I had to pay this dude. No bullshit. Anything I did, gigs, endorsements, anything I did, including day labor jobs, he had a right to 10% of my money. Of course, I didn't sign that thing, and that was something. But it was so blatant, it was obvious. It was a. Anytime you got more than 40 pages of contract, it's gonna be some fucking in there.
Damn, 40 pages. That's crazy. So what would the average contract be page-wise?
The average contract, average recording contract for a major is 40 pages, okay? Because everything is broken down. Your promotion, when you get paid, your name and likeness, who owns that, if it's going to be in perpetuity, your scheduling, force majeure. Force majeure is when they tell you, in the event of some unforeseen shit, that what they gonna do and what they're not gonna do, and what can nullify. Then they have all the notification clauses where whether you're gonna, if you guys have to go to arbitration, everything is broken down. You can only you can only check the books on Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. All that shit's in the contract. All that shit, it don't say it like that. They say standard business hours, okay, which is 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So everything is spelled out, and it takes quite a bit of paper, about a quarter of a ream of paper, get it all together. Now, when they start putting the extra bullshit in there, that's when the problem comes in. They start adding all the addendums. That's when the problem comes in.
As a person who started out as a group, how hard is it to keep a group together, a band, anybody with more than 3 people? It seems like even in hip hop, most groups don't last. EPMD broke up, Outkast separated. I mean, they all tend to break up. How hard is it to keep a group together?
Impossible. You came together because money and talent. Once the money come in, y'all going your separate ways. Once the money gets to come, because the money's going to differentiate. It's going to be a difference in the division of the money. When y'all came in, y'all all came in at flat ass zero. Nobody got nothing but hopes, dreams, and some talent. That's all you got to offer the situation. At some point in time, when the money comes, because what happens is when you get a group, somebody's gonna write some music, somebody's gonna write some lyrics, somebody's gonna maybe in the management team. That was one of the problems I had, because in the beginning I had to do everything. I was a manager, group member, label owner, all that shit. So I got different different revenue streams I'm getting paid from, rightfully so. But it looked like a fucking ripoff. You can pay for you get a quarter of the money, 25% for being in the group, get another percentage for managing the group, and you own the label too. It sounds like a ripoff, but that's all we had to offer. And until somebody on the outside sees that, they don't understand. Ain't nobody had no money. I'm the only one that has some money. I had to finance the label, I had to do everything. So somebody on the outside, man, do he get all the damn money? They don't understand. He's taking all the damn risks. If a record company takes the risk, they're gonna get their cut. The manager comes in, it's gonna be 20% off the top. So simple as that. So no matter whether you're not as an artist, you're not gonna keep it. But it just looks funny, it looks odd, it looks like a ripoff when another group member is getting it. So when you look and see like groups like the Confunction, perfect example. Only a couple of guys that can function write the music. Everybody plays it, but only a couple of guys write the songs. So while some guys watch the documentary, while some guys are out partying, having a good time, you got 2 or 3 guys in the studio grinding, trying to write these hits. They come time to record it. Everybody records. But when you look at the writer's shares, only certain guys get writer's shares, which means only certain guys get publishing. And a lot of guys feel we're all a group, we should get the same amount of money. Nope, we don't do the same amount of work. Why should we do that? We don't do the same amount of work. My creativity writes our songs. My creativity produces the music. Therefore, I need to get paid for those efforts. If you're just playing the bass or just playing the guitar, doing backup singing, you can't get the same amount of money as the writer. If you had to go and have an outside writer, he would get his money, and that was always that for years. That was the way it was done. There was an outside writer, outside producers. So the group members split up all the royalties equally because they didn't really do anything. As group members take on more responsibility, their revenue streams increase, and that's where the jealousy comes in.
Ego, man. So artists, in my opinion, by nature, have egos, whether they hide it well or it comes out of them. I think every artist has an ego, in my opinion. But every artist in a group, they probably think they're better than the next person. How hard is it to keep egos in check when you're dealing with a group?
Impossible. Because when you walk on stage, 4 people that come from the same basic area, got the same basic thing. When you walk on that stage, people start choosing. Women start choosing. Based on your conversation, interviewers may start choosing who they want to talk to. This person has a better speaking voice or a better speaking persona. Well, on stage, somebody there may be a bunch of girls who like light-skinned guys. Yella was hot on stage. They loved Yella on stage. Dre was well loved. I was in the back most of the time. I had my group members as my fans as well, but I was never a focus on stage. Dre would scratch, Yella would be out front. He'd be running the keyboards, whatever. He'd be the hype man in the beginning of the show. So when he comes out, we all come out doing our steps or whatever. Shit, he already got the crowd wrapped up. Plus, he done passed out a bunch of albums. We'd always have albums thrown out in the audience. We do all that kind of shit. So yeah, he would get a lot of attention. Dre's name was on the record, and it looked like some of us were just band members. And that can go to somebody's head. Or sometimes they like a Jerry curl. Oh, he got a nice Jerry. I'm the only one that had a Jerry curl. He got a nice Jerry curl. Damn, it might be my night. And everybody don't like that. Just like they saw in 5 Heartbeats, when Leon wasn't getting no attention, shit, he got mad at something because Flash would get all the attention. That shit happens, man. That's real talk. And all Flash did was do what he normally do. But Leon, for whatever reason, when Flash showed up, Leon, he kind of fell off.
Yeah, I was listening to another piece on West Coast hip hop, and DJ Train was mentioned. It was said that he was an exceptional DJ and he could do things a lot of other DJs couldn't at that time. His life, unfortunately, for anyone that doesn't know, ended at an early age when he passed away in a house fire. He allegedly thought his son was in the house. He went back in to retrieve his son who he thought was inside, and he never made it out. Tell us about DJ Train, Lonzo. Any good DJ Train stories? We don't hear his name too much, unfortunately.
I didn't really know him that well. He was a youngster. Again, I'm first generation. These guys came up behind me. I knew he was JJ Fast DJ. He worked on Ruthless Records, and he was very, very well loved, especially in Compton. And when he passed, that was one of the first things Eazy had me do for Ruthless was to go make sure his family was taken care of. That was one of my jobs for the Ruthless family was to go out there and represent them, make sure that, hey man, here goes the envelope for the family. Like by that time, Eazy was so big, he really couldn't come without being a major issue. But he did show respect for the family and for Train, because actually he was the DJ for JJ Fad. I didn't really know him personally that well. I heard a lot about him, but I didn't know him personally.
What about Sir Jinx? Can you tell us anything about his early come up?
Crazy motherfucker. Crazy
Straight
motherfucker.
up, huh?
Jinx would get on my nerves especially when he was in Stereo Crew. He's one of them dancing motherfuckers. He always dancing. Hey, Lonzo, motherfucker, what's happening with your boy? And he always clown you and shit. Jinx is where I got the fucking the term N.W.A. from. Yeah, I got it from Jinx. Okay.
Oh, okay. Now without Alonzo.
Jinx was clowning one day. Somebody asked, "What does N.W.A. stand for?" He said, "Niggas without Alonzo." And it was clowning. And okay, nigga, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna keep that. I kept it in the back of my head. And when it came time, I dropped it on them. Okay. Jinx was very instrumental in a lot of what N.W.A. did in the very beginning. Kelvin Anderson tells the story how Jinx convinced him into buying a SP1200, because Ray would let him get on his, and so Jinx started making music out of VIP Long Beach using a SP1200 that Kelvin bought for the store, and he became an in-house producer on the VIP Long Beach. He's always outspoken, very energetic, and like I said, he always wanted to pop lock and joking motherfuckers. Man, sit your ass down. So Cube was never like that. Cube and KD was always cool. Then all of them same age. All of them Geminis. All three of them Geminis. Jinx he wanted them cats always on. He's always been unique. He was a dancing son of a bitch back in the day. And like I said, all through the conversation, he practicing his moves. All while he talking to you. He practicing his move like Neo or some shit.
Tell us about Michael Mixon Moore.
Michael Mixon Moore. Michael Mixon Moore was a DJ on the radio. One of the first guys on the radio. He was a big part. He was a big influence back in the day, because to have somebody on the radio mixing was a big deal back then. And Michael was a militant. I think he joined the Muslims at one point, if I'm mistaken. He was on. I think he on the Power. He was on one of them big, either K-Day, Power, one of the big stations. And they fired him and pissed him off. I think it might have been Power, because it was K-Day.
I'm looking it up right now. I would say K-Day if I had to guess. Yeah, he was part of the traffic jam. 5 o'clock traffic jam, yep.
Yeah, he was one of those DJs, and allegedly, he got pissed off at him, and they fired his ass. And he allegedly rented a helicopter and flew over one of their concerts and threw out a bunch of flyers about how fucked up the radio station was. Yeah, no bullshit.
Yeah, when he was at K-Day, then he went to KJLH, where he was reportedly ejected for words and messages management said listeners. Yeah, he got in trouble at KJLH, it looks like, also.
Yeah, he was a very outspoken dude. And he's a nice, he wasn't big, he wasn't muscular. He was like one of them big round dudes. Okay. But he was a great DJ, and he was talking shit, and he always bounced around for a few stations. I think he went to one of the bigger. When he went to one of the bigger ones, that's when he pulled it. He used to MC also. They wouldn't let him on the property at this concert. He would have got a helicopter or some shit and just threw flyers out the helicopter, talking, bad mouth from the radio station. Back in the day, man, street DJs, when they got the radio, they got powerful as shit. They got powerful. Another brother, man, what was his name? Damn it. He was the man. He was on every club in the city. He got killed on a motorcycle.
A radio DJ? I'll look it up right now.
He's a radio DJ. Magic Mike was another guy that was very hot around that time. And they all had radio connections, and they were one of the first ones that brought the hip hop vibe to any radio station here in LA. Then they started doing clubs, and they just blew up. And Mike was doing maybe 3 or 4 clubs a week, man. And he rode a motorcycle, and he went down and didn't get up.
All right, you know what? I'm looking at AI. It says he passed away, and looking at ChatGPT, passed away in 2018. His death was reportedly due to an illness, not a motorcycle accident where he killed someone. However, there have been incidents where yeah. So I don't know. Maybe.
Wait, Mike. This is the wrong Magic Mike then.
Okay, Magic Mike, Mike Ramsey, DJ, very well-known radio DJ.
Magic Mike died in the 80s.
Then this is okay. This is 2018. Then never mind.
This dude died in the 80s.
Okay.
The Eve was cracking when he died. He was a real hot dude. Yeah, this is a long time ago.
Okay.
You always gonna find it's gonna be a bunch of Magic Mikes, DJ Joes, man. Some Richie Riches. It's a bunch of Richie Riches. There's a lot of guys that share the same name in different areas.
What can you tell us about the Fila Fresh crew who made their appearance on that N.W.A. and the Posse album?
Fila Fresh crew was Dr. Rock, DOC, and somebody else who I don't really know. I know Dr. Rock and DOC. Dr. Rock was a DJ with my group, Eve After Dark. He was one of the OG DJs at Eve After Dark. He was a buddy of mine who grew up on the hood, on the corner from me. And he left LA under mysterious circumstances and moved to Houston, where I always get this shit confused. Wherever DOC lived, Dallas. Okay, man, you'll get your ass cussed out. Hey, from goddamn Houston.
Yeah, no comment section. I can already hear their asses.
Come on, man. He moved to Dallas, and hip hop was still very somewhat new, and he hooked up with a couple of guys out of Dallas, and because Dr. Rock was a DJ here, he had rapped on my first EAD rap. And he was an LA DJ. He knew a few things. He talked his way up on the Tom Joyner show, okay, and he became the man in Dallas, and messed around there and got him a group called the Fila Fresh Crew, which featured DOC. Record crew goes down to Dallas, do some shows down there. Next thing I know, Fila Fresh Crew was in the studio. And next thing I know after that, DOC is rocking with Ruthless. Yeah.
You'll love this question, Lonzo. Funk Asylum wants to know, ask Lonzo, did he ever work with the late, great Etta James?
Man, come on, dude. Etta James is the reason why I'm in the house right now.
Talk to us, man.
I didn't work with her professionally. I knew her personally. Etta, if you walk out my front door, Etta lives two houses down from me. My brother worked with her professionally and was a personal friend of hers as well. Etta was probably one of the most influential people in the industry before I met Swamp Dogg. She would talk to me about the gang. She got screwed over on a lot of stuff. And she gave me a lot of insight on what to look out for, what not to do when it came to the music industry. And she was just super cool, man. Like I said, she lived right around the corner right down the street from me till she passed. Well, I'm sorry, she moved to Riverside. The sons had the house for years. And she was a super cool, man. You ain't gonna meet a nicer lady, but she'll cuss your ass out. She'll cuss your ass out in a New York minute, as they say. She wasn't no joke. In fact, she told me, Lonzo, you need to buy Johnny Odo's house. God damn it. You got a studio there. You can make you some money. And that's how she talked to me. She don't ask you questions. She tell you what to do. You need to go on have somebody find out what he want for it. You need to buy it. Because I was going to buy this house or do those. I had the option to buy Dudos or this house. Actually, I had three options right before I was about to buy this house. I had money from Eve. I signed a record deal, and my daddy had a friend of his around the corner who lived where I live at right now. The guy's line he had cut for years, and he had a house and some apartment buildings he was trying to sell. He wanted $180,000 for everything. This is 1984. Okay. He wanted $180,000 for everything. Dudos wanted $225 or something like that for Dudos. My house was $120. Okay. Now I didn't know shit about finance. I know I'm gonna sound stupid right now. I ain't know nothing about financing. I'm thinking when you get a house for $120,000, You need to put all the money up. The house for 200, a building for 220, got to put all the money up. Same thing with an apartment building. I'm not a financially secure, financially educated person. Okay, I didn't know you could just put down some minimum dollars until I got ready to buy this house right here. So I'm thinking I had to give up all my money because I had money at the time. I had to give up all my money, not be broke. Do those other apartment buildings. Yeah, I was stupid. I know I was stupid, but I bought this house anyway. And Elder James was encouraged me to buy the house. And I didn't meet Johnny older until about 6 months after I bought the house. We did some little business on the side. And but yeah, she was a major influence on me musically, because she was a personal friend that looked out for me and gave me all the insight.
Is that the one who gave you advice about a specific person that ended up being 100% correct?
Yes. Watch. She said little silly, crazy shit like, I said, I'm working with Jerry, not Maury. If you lay down with dogs, you're gonna get fleas, huh? If you lay with dogs, you're gonna get fleas. What that mean? If one dog got fleas, both of them got fleas. God damn. She make you feel stupid as hell. And sure enough, everybody had fleas.
Etta James, man, legend. What are some of the songs that we might remember from Etta James? Let me look it up while you're talking.
Tell Mama, and her biggest song was At Last. That's the one that took her to another stage.
And I'd Rather Go Blind. Beyonce actually redid that, which is a classic. Yeah. Beyonce did a good. I think Beyonce did an amazing job at that personally.
Yeah. Etta hated that shit though. They didn't talk to her about it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was Etta she had a little attitude behind that stuff.
Really? Cadillac Records, right?
Yeah, until they invited her to the White House when Beyonce sang for Obama. That's when she was cool, because she was in the audience.
Damn. So you knew her up until she passed?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. Yeah. Legend. Yes. Legendary. Yeah. All right, man. Well, damn, that hour flew by. We only have a couple minutes left, Lonzo. Anything coming up? I know you got your show in November. What can we expect from that?
Well, I'm getting ready to hit the stage over in San Pedro for the car show. Me, Clientele, and my girl, Candy B. And man, I'm just looking forward to having some fun. I got a few other speaking engagements coming up. I'll be speaking at the Torrance Memorial Hospital on October 15th. About 2 weeks, they got me speaking as a prostate cancer survivor, which is what I do. And man, just get ready to wrap the year up, dude. Can you believe that shit? Getting ready to wrap this year up.
Nice.
Okay. And we got 2.5 months left in this year.
Crazy.
2.5 left. So yeah, Doc. That's what I'm doing right now, man. Just usually by November I slow down a little bit. I don't see it happening. I usually slow down for real about December. That December, I don't do a whole lot. I'm not, I won't even do my podcast. I still do the podcast. I won't do no mixers, anything. I don't really plan anything. Well, if I plan it, I'm planning for the next year.
Same here. I hope it's been a good year for everybody. And before we head out, I'm going to remind everybody to hit that like button if you haven't already. And please, if this is your first time joining the channel and you want some real West Coast hip hop knowledge, you are tuned into the right spot. N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo. Hit that subscribe button. Much love to the chat fam. We love you out there. Hit them with that outro, Lonzo.
All right, folks. For those who never heard of me, I'm the first one to put Dr. Dre in the surgery. Stuck Ice Cube in the freezer until he got cold. On the eve after dark, 50-yard line to Super Bowl. In the movie Straight Outta Compton, they played me like a hater of rap. Don't believe that Hollywood bullshit, because it was all cap. My history goes deeper than you will ever know. Just remember that N.W.A. stands for not without Alonzo. Peace, y'all.